Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Floss, back again with another video. And today we're going to do the real review for the LG V30. Now I'm going to try to make this video as quick as I can, but there's a few things I want to talk about, so let's get right into it. First things first, let me answer the main three questions I've been getting asked all week. Number one, is this the best Android phone out right now? And the answer is no. That title still goes to the Galaxy Note 8. In my opinion, pound for pound, the best Android phone out, and you got the S Pen. The S Pen is what separates this phone from every phone on the market. Next, is this phone worth the $800 price tag? And the answer is yes. Now don't get me wrong, when I say it's worth the price, that doesn't mean I like it, but it's worth the price. And that means when you spend your $800, you're gonna be happy. Now let me give you a perfect example of something not being worth the price. The Essential PH1, also known as the Essential Trash. Now this was a phone that if you bought for $700, you was disappointed. Now if y'all watch my unboxing video for this, I told y'all I'd give it a couple of weeks and the price is gonna drop to $500, which it did. Now would I buy this phone for $500? Hell no. Get an LG G6. Same price, but it kills the PH1 in every category. Now the last question, where do I place the LG V30 in my top 5 Android phones? Well, let's run through those real quick. Number 1, Galaxy Note 8, pound for pound the best. Number 2, Google Pixel XL. Now on a side note, I will be doing the Pixel XL 2 on Thursday. I just got my shipping confirmation, but until I get that phone, the Pixel XL, this is still the smoothest Android phone out right now. No lag, no bloatware. You got the latest and greatest Android software. This is a heavy hitter. This is one phone that you never got to reset. All right, so this is my workhorse. Number 3, HTC U11. Now, at the end of the year, I'm going to do a phone awards video. This is probably going to win the most beautiful phone of the year. I got to wipe it down one time. Look at this. Not to mention, you got the hi-fi DAC. You got dual speakers. This is a beast. No lag, smooth software. Number 4, LG V30. Now there's one word I could use to describe the V30, the camera. The camera on this phone is amazing. And last, now this is also going to be in my phone awards video, the Moto Z2. Super smooth, basically a stock Android experience, but the Moto Mods. Now this is an underrated phone. This is probably going to win the award for the most underrated phone of the year. And part of that is due to the price. Because this phone is a little bit expensive, and the mods are crazy expensive, and you got to buy all of them to get the full experience. So you're going to need the wireless charge mod, you're going to need the projector, the JBL sound boost, and the battery charge mod. Now, if you did spend all of that money and get yourself caught up in this ecosystem, this is a major go. And the projector mod, out of this world. Now, with that being said, just like any other phone that I review, there's always going to be some things that I don't like. So let's talk about those first. Number 1, the price. Now, $800, like I said, you're going to be satisfied, but that don't mean you got to like it. Especially in this day and age where there's so many other phones that can compete with the V30 that's going to run you $500, namely the G6. Now, you can get the G6 right now for $500. The V30 is obviously better, but is it $300 better? No. I would say it's about $100 better. So LG, they should have sold this one for $500 and the V30 for $600. But it is what it is. Next, the front-facing camera. Now don't get me wrong. In broad daylight, or if you're sitting in the office where I'm at right now, underneath the lights, the front-facing camera is going to get the job done. It's going to look like basically every other phone out. But where the front-facing camera is going to suffer is in low-light photos. Now I had this phone out the other night. I'll tell y'all a quick story. I was at a car show and I bumped into a legend. Now, I'm not the type of dude that takes pictures with celebrities and all that, but it is what it is. Sometimes I have a little fanboy moment, and I had one. So I was like, let me get a quick picture together. So I pulled out my LG V30. I was in the process of testing this, and I took a selfie, and it came out so dark and blurry. It just looked whack. Now, I had to suck up my pride and ask for another one. So I happened to have my Galaxy Note in my back pocket. So I pulled out the Note, took the same picture. When you compare them side by side, the Note picture was way better. So the front-facing camera on this in the nighttime photos is trash. Now, on a side note, if y'all want to know who the celebrity was in the full story, ask me during my next stream. Next, storage. Now you're only getting 64 gigs of storage. Now keep in mind, this is a flagship phone with a flagship price. And not to mention, this phone is the V, so it's based on the camera. You're going to be doing a lot of videos with this phone. 64 gigs of storage ain't enough. Now, they got the V30 Plus coming to Sprint with 128 gigs, but what happens if you're on Verizon? That's not going to help you. So in this day and age, every flagship phone, the minimum storage should be 128 gigs, especially if you're charging more than $500. Next, now this has to do with the camera, even though this is one of the best cameras out right now. We'll talk about that in a minute. You got a dual camera setup, but no portrait mode. All right, so I'm definitely not feeling that. If you got the hang of using portrait mode on the Galaxy or the iPhones, or all of these other phones, the Huawei phones that have it, you're going to miss that feature. Now, you can take a picture and go to Instagram and blur out the background and all of that, but having portrait mode, especially on a dual camera phone, should be mandatory. So LG went with the wide angle lens, which I absolutely love, but I wish they would have had portrait mode also. Next, no removable battery. Now that's a big deal, especially with the LG V series. Now, if you had a V10 and a V20, that's part of the things that you liked about that phone was the removable battery. Now, I know people are going to say no phones got removable batteries anymore. I understand that. But my thing is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I never heard anybody complain, oh, I have my V20, I hate having the removable battery. I have my Note 4, I hate the fact that I can remove the battery. I never heard anybody complain about that. In fact, I know people right now that's still using the Note 4, still using the G5, just because they have the option to swap the batteries. Now, if you travel a lot or you're using your phone for business, there's nothing like having that battery in your pocket that you could just swap out. Now, you can get a battery charge case or you can get portable battery chargers, but those are big and bulky and more stuff to carry around. There's nothing like carrying a small little battery. So I wish they would have left that. Next, no secondary display. Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, with the LG V30, you do have your floating dock. Let me see if I can activate that real quick. You got your floating dock, but it's not the same as having the built-in secondary display. Now, if you use your secondary display as much as I did on my V phones prior to this one, the best feature of the secondary display was when you're doing something on your phone and you got a notification, you was able to see that whole notification right at the top of your phone. That was a dope feature. They took that away. I wish they would have left it. Next, no dual speakers. Now, this is a media phone. Right, you're going to be taking a whole bunch of pictures and video. You're going to want to play them back. You got the quad DAC, so you're going to have all your music saved on this phone. They should have put the dual speakers. Now, anybody that thinks dual speakers ain't a big deal, all you have to do is go to your neighborhood's phone store, pick up an HTC U11 or pick up an iPhone 8 Plus and listen to the speakers. Now, I'll give you a perfect example. Of course, I know people are going to say, oh, you could just get a Bluetooth speaker and pair it up and all of that. But there's situations that you're going to want to hear your music or you're going to want to watch a video and you're in an environment where a Bluetooth speaker would be too loud, but at the same time, you don't want your phone to be too low. And the perfect example for me is when I first wake up in the morning. As soon as I wake up in the bed, the first thing I want to do is take it over to my Instagram feed and watch all of the videos, take it over to my YouTube subscriptions, watch all of the videos. And when I'm watching videos in the bed, I don't need it to be super loud. I'm still trying to decompress from sleeping and recompress for the day. So I just need it to be loud, but not too loud. So that's why 9 times out of 10, when I wake up, I pull out my iPhone 8 and I watch my Instagram videos and my YouTube videos because the dual speaker setup, it just sounds way better. Now, the speakers on this, they not trash, but a dual speaker would have been so much better and so much easier to do. Just add it in the top, just like Apple did and just like HTC did, add it right in the top. It makes the world of a difference. Trust me. Next, the power button on the back. Now, I'm not feeling this. All right? I'm not feeling the power button built into the fingerprint sensor because this phone is already light. Now, that's another thing that I don't like. We'll talk about both of these at the same time. The build quality in this phone. Don't get me wrong. It's premium. All right, it's still military drop test approved. It's not cheap. But it just feels a little bit light. Now, if you hold this phone in your hand and you hold the Galaxy S8 Plus or you hold the HTC U11, they might look, identical, but there's a little bit of extra weight built into the U a couple of grams, a little bit of extra weight, but that little bit of extra weight makes a world of a difference. This phone just feels a little too light, and sometimes when phones feel too light, it feels a little bit cheap. It gives it a cheapy feel. Now, this is all subjective. If you're the type of person that wears shirts with the pocket on the front and you like to put your phone in that front pocket, then you're not going to want a heavy phone weighing down your pocket. You're going to want something lighter. But when you're paying $800 for a premium flagship phone and you take off the case, you're going to want it to feel like a premium flagship phone. Now, there's a simple fix. Drop my favorite case, the Spigen Slim Armor. That case is going to add some extra weight to this and make it feel a little bit more premium. But when you're going out and you want a front, you got your V30 on the table shining and glistening. It just feels a little too light. And back to what I was saying about the power button, it just feels a little bit floppy. It feels a little floppy because it's an actual button. So you have a button press on it. It's a little bit floppy. I don't like that. Now, that's one thing I will give credit to that Essential Trash, the Essential Trash 1. You see how the fingerprint sensor's on the back, that little button, but it's built into the glass. So it just feels super premium, and when you touch the back, you get a little bit of vibration. That's one of the things I did like about the Trash, but everything else is trash. So anyway, I'm not feeling the extra light build, and I'm not feeling the flappy power button on the back. Now, of course, I got to get a little bit petty. Y'all know they call me Petty Roosevelt. So let's talk about two things that I don't like. That's ultra petty. One, the face unlock. Now, you see, I did it just now. I'm going to do it again. Face unlocked. I'm sitting underneath these lights. I look at the phone, pops right open. Face unlock is a go. Now, if you're using it in an office with lights, you're using it in broad daylight, the face unlock is fine. Now, it's not meant to be the ultra secure feature and all of that, but it's a dope feature. The problem with it is it doesn't work in the darkness. Now, if you're in your room with just a TV light, it may work. It's a little spotty. But if you turn the TV off, that's the end of your face unlock. Now, you might say, oh, that's not really a big deal. But if you got a Galaxy Note 8 and you're using the iris sensor, that works in pitch darkness and it works in pitch lightness. It works across the whole spectrum. So I wish the facial unlock would have worked in complete darkness. It is what it is. I know I'm being petty. I could use a fingerprint sensor. You could use the knock code and get into your phone. But I wish it would have worked. And the last thing that I don't like is the color choices. Now, again, $800. If the phone comes out in multiple colors, why not make it for sale on every carrier with all of the colors? Now, I'm pretty sure that has something to do with Sprint and Verizon and, the marketing and all that. But that's not my concern. When you buy an iPhone, now you can love Apple or hate them if you want, but when you buy your iPhone, if you go to Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, US Cellular, Metro, PCS, whatever company you go to, if the iPhone comes out in space gray, gold, and black, when you go to that carrier, you could buy space gray, gold, or black. If you like me and you're on Verizon and you want a V30, you only got one color choice, silver. Now, don't get me wrong, I like the silver, but the black would have looked so much better, especially when you're talking about phones that don't have a bezel. The black would have just looked so much better, so I wish they would have had more color choices, especially for that price. Anyway, so that's everything that I don't like. Now let's get into everything that I do like. Shout out to White Shoes, by the way, back in the building. All right, so everything that I do like. Number one, the build quality. Now, like I said, it's a little bit on the light side, but it still looks beautiful. It does feel so good in the hands, ladies. You know the procedures. The glass back phones, y'all know how I feel about that. I love the glass look. It is a fingerprint magnet, but it definitely does look dope. So we got to give them credit on that. The build on this is a go. And speaking of build quality, it is IP68 water and dust resistant. So that's a major go. And with the glass back phones, you're getting wireless charge. All right, fallback Zerks. You're getting wireless charge. So that's three things that I like: build quality, water resistance, and wireless charge. Next, fingerprint sensor. Now, although I hate fingerprint sensors on the back, this is one of LG's best fingerprint sensors. Now, I had a major issue with my LG V20. After a few weeks, my fingerprint sensor got a little bit laggy, and I went to the forums. A lot of people had the same issue. Now, I had this phone, I would say maybe 2 weeks already. No problems with the fingerprint sensor. So that's a go. Fingerprint sensor, super smooth, super responsive. Let's keep it moving. Next, always on display. Now, I can't even look at, now the facial unlock, we'll talk about that real quick too. Facial unlock on this works so good. Sometimes it's too fast. Like sometimes I'm trying to read my notifications and the facial unlock opens so fast. See, now I'm holding the phone tilt. I'm trying not to look at it. It opens so fast. I love that. But anyway, let me not look at the phone. Let me look away. Let's talk about always on display. This is a fully functional always on display. You can swipe over. So if I swipe once, I got all my toggles. There goes my flashlight. Activate that real quick. Like I said, this is too fast. Let me double tap off. All right, let me turn my flashlight off. All right, so you got your Bluetooth. You got your screen right. So I can just tap on that. Call who? Mike. Shout out to Mike. All right, so you can just do that. So you got all your toggles right from your always on display. You got double tap to awake the screen. Also double tap to sleep the screen. But speaking of always on display, so one swipe over, there's your toggles. The next swipe, now I'm gonna try not to look at the phone. You see I got my YouTube notifications, Gmail, Google Talk. You got your battery percentage, everything right on your always on display. Now what separates this always on display from the Samsung version is you have the option to make this brighter. Now underneath direct light, they both will be the same brightness, but this one just gets a little bit brighter. All right, so one more swipe. You got controls for your music. You got the time and date. And just like the Galaxy, let me wipe this down. Just like the Galaxies, you can add your own pitch. Too fast. Just like the Galaxy, you can add your own picture to the always on display. So always on display on this is a go. Next, let's talk about the actual phone display. Now, there's a lot of controversy going around with this. I hear a lot of people saying they're getting light bleed and all that. I can't talk about something that doesn't happen to me. Now, in my personal opinion, I think a lot of it is bandwagon hype, but whatever, it might not be. But for me, I don't see any light bleed at all. 6-inch OLED display, it looks amazing. Now, if I put this, let me grab a Note 8. If I put this directly next to my Note 8, they pretty much look the same. You got Super AMOLED and you got OLED. They pretty much look the same. Both of them are super bright. But with your LG V30, this display is vibrant. It's very colorful. You got excellent viewing angles. So when you're out in direct sunlight, you're not going to have to be squinting. You're going to be able to see your phone. So I'm definitely feeling the display on this. No complaints. Next, battery life. Now you got the 3,300 milliamp battery. I would say I'm getting about maybe 4 to 4.5 hours with heavy use. Now at max brightness, I'm getting 3.5 hours, but this is definitely a shit shower and shave phone. So when you get home from work, you plug this in, you let it charge for 30 minutes, and you're gonna get 50% battery back. That is a major win. So battery life on this, no complaints. Now there's plenty of battery saving tips and tricks that you could do to get more longevity out of your battery. Me, if you look, I gotta be a douche. I got my brightness on max, and I got all my email accounts, everything, pulling up all my information at the same time. So my battery's gonna go quicker than other people's. Plus I'm a social media savage, so you gotta keep that in mind. But a regular person, if you're not a douche, a regular person, you're easily gonna get 8 hours, and you're easily gonna get the happy hour after work. And then once you get home, 3 S's, charge it back up. All right, so battery life on this is a go. Next, headphone jack. Headphone jack. Gotta mention that these days. This is the LG V series. You got the quad DAC. Let's talk about both of those at the same time. Headphone jack and quad DAC. You got the headphone jack. Now, a lot of people always ask me, why do I make a big deal about having a headphone jack in this day and age when everything is about Bluetooth speakers and everything is wireless streaming? Ask anybody that's an audiophile. Now, me personally, I'm not an audiophile, but I do have some quality headphones that have a wired connection, like my Blue Ellas. Now, when I'm using headphones like that, you're going to need a headphone jack. They're not wireless. Now, you can use the wireless adapters and all of that, but there's nothing more convenient than just plugging it in. Now, speaking of headphone jack, you got the quad DAC. Now, I did a side-by-side comparison with the V30 and the HTC U11, and there's no clear winner. Both of these phones, the DAC is amazing. All right, so if you're into music on the go and you got some quality wired headphones, you're going to want to get an HTC 11 or LG V30. Now, it also comes into play when you're using the aux cable in your car. Now, everybody always asks me, why don't I use Bluetooth in the car? Anybody that knows anything about music will tell you that the wired connection is always going to sound better than a wireless connection. I don't care about LDAC and Bluetooth 5.3. I don't care about none of that stuff. When you plug in your wire, especially in your car, if you got a real car system with an amp and all of that, the quad DAC on this phone is going to make a difference. Fellas, try it for yourself. Go in your car, plug in your aux cable to a regular phone, play your music, then plug it into the V30, go to the settings, adjust the different bass settings, the treble, your different tones. You're going to love this. All right, so I'm hooked on using this in the car. The quad DAC, it's out of this world. Next, the processor. Now you got the latest and greatest. You got the Snapdragon 835. Of course, now when I look at the phone, of course it's not working. This is a perfect opportunity to show you the not code. Matter of fact, this is the soda screen, just in case anybody's going to want to know. We'll talk about that in a second. Snapdragon 835, no lag. All right, no lag at all. I would say hiccups, you get a minor hiccup here and there. Now, do you have as many hiccups as a Galaxy Note 8? Hell no. Now, look, I don't want to rant. But anybody got a Note 8, my advice to you would be reset your phone every day. Now, with the LG phone, you got this option right here. You see Optimize. Click on Optimize. You don't have to reset your phone. Basically, what I do is maybe every couple of hours, depending on how many apps I got open in the background. Okay, none. But click on Optimize. Now, once you click on that, that's going to give you your internal storage, your memory, your battery usage, and your battery saver. Now, look, 11 hours battery usage, last hour 15% use in the last 3 hours. All right, screen 7. This is excellent battery consumption. But if you go to, matter of fact, let me do that one more time. If you go to battery saver, 13 hours right now if I don't do nothing. Extend the battery, 22 hours, and maximum battery saving, 35 hours. All right, so if I was going on a trip somewhere and I didn't want to use airplane mode, I just drop it on maximum and rock out. But what I was saying about the processor, no lag at all. You can use your split screen, have your multiple apps running at the same time with no lag at all. All right, now I'm trying to speed this up. I know I'll be going long, but we're just going to talk about stuff. I really got to show you about the no lag. You could pretty much see it for yourself. You swipe over one direction, you got your briefing. And look at the briefing. Now, you remember back in the days when you first had Flipboard and you had all these briefings, the first thing you would do is disable that because it would always lag and take forever to reset. If it's a video, to reload. If it's a video, it take forever for the video to start playing. Not with this LG V30. As soon as you swipe over, you see my videos playing. You got all your news. And you can set this to all your different accounts, your social media accounts. Frequently used apps. But basically, no lag. So no complaints on this phone right here. Next, let's talk about the software. Now, that's part of the reason why I put the U11 above the LG is because of the soft. Now, you got the software. Soft. Because of the software. You got the LG UI versus HTC Sense. Personally, I like Sense a little bit better. LG's UI is a little bit more cartoony, but it's very customizable. If y'all notice, you see that everything is orange. That's a theme. So you could go to LG's theme store, plenty of different themes, different icons you could choose. Now, personally, I like all the stock icons, but I just want to try something a little bit different. So I got the orange theme, black and orange theme. But I'm definitely feeling LG's UI. It doesn't lag. Like I said, look at that flop. You get a little hiccups here and there. Now, I will tell y'all real quick about the hiccups that I have. My main hiccup I have is when I haven't used the phone for a long time, unlocking the phone. Now, I had that problem with the V20, and it got so bad that it was almost unusable. With this one, it's not that bad. But every now and then, if you got a lot of apps running in the background, when you go to unlock your phone, you might get a little hiccup. That's not a big deal. I wouldn't even call that lag. For the lag factor, I would say 0. Next, let's talk about the speakers. Let me pull up something real quick, just so I can give y'all a demo of the speakers. Let's pull up a YouTube video. Something that we won't get copywritten. All right, let's take it over to Bike Life. So, one bottom firing speaker. If you cover it up, you don't hear anything. The display is beautiful. Now, look, I want to show y'all something real quick, just for y'all people that think I was harping too much about the dual speakers. I'm going to pull up the same video on my iPhone 8 Plus. All right, now check this out. Now this mic might not do it justice, but you see speakers at the bottom? I'm covering them up. I'm covering up the speaker completely on the bottom. You still hear the music from the top. Now watch this. Bike Life, cover the speaker on the bottom. Nothing. So that's going to be the same way if you're holding a phone in your hand, you see like this, and your palm is covering up the speaker. Look at the iPhone. Let me get to some actual music. All right, look, cover up the bottom. You still hear the music coming crystal clear out of the top. I can't stress that enough. Every phone company needs to start doing dual speakers. It doesn't have to be dual stereo speakers, some big speakers like HTC used to do, but we're gonna need dual speakers. All right, so the speakers on this, they not bad. They do get loud. Doesn't have that vibrating bass like I just had with the iPhone or with the U11, but they get the job done. Kind of loud, kind of loud. All right, so nothing to complain about. Next. Now, this is the best part about this phone, the camera. All right, now let me show y'all something. Now, even though there's no portrait mode, you got wide angle. Now, the wide angle, let me show you these pictures. The wide angle lens on this camera is worth the price of the phone alone. Let me show you two pictures real quick. All right, let me pull them up. Now, check this out. This is earlier. All right, so earlier, I'm sitting in the car. I'm holding the phone, point and shoot. So I took this picture. Now, I'm going to swipe over one. Okay, here's the picture. So I took this picture. Now I just press the wide angle lens. Look at the difference. Regular, wide angle. Now, let me show you how that's going to come into play. Now, look at this. Now, this is why I say this is one of the best cameras. Go to my Instagram and look at these pictures I posted. There's no filters. There's no pro mode. I didn't adjust any white balance. Straight up auto point and shoot. So this is a point and shoot picture riding around in Manhattan. Now hit wide angle lens, look at the difference. Now you can actually see another car next to me. You can see the whole interior of the car just from pressing one button. So when you go to those concerts and you go to those parties, the wide angle lens camera, you're gonna love that. Now let me show you something else real quick about the camera. Let's go to modes. The only thing missing on this is portrait mode. Now you got a bunch of other nice modes. One of the modes I like to use is pop out. Let me show you what pop out does. You see how I add that little square? So I'm going to take a picture. Matter of fact, let me get Xerxes in the background. Take the little picture. Right now, let's view it. You see it does a pop out. So everything in the background is kind of blurred out, a little bit darker, but the pop out image in the middle is right there. That's perfect for your Instagram footage. All right, let's see what else we got. Now you got fisheye. When you could change the pop out, you could change it to black and white. Trust me when I tell you, this camera just has so many different modes. Now I don't got to go through all of them. You know about manual, you know about auto, you know about matte shot. Now matte shot, basically, what that's going to do is, all right, my bad. I just got a phone call. I didn't want to put the number on blast. Now we was talking about matte shot. So let me show you what matte shot is. Say I want to take a picture of this Moto Z. I'll click it. Now that picture is going to stay on the screen. Now the bottom half is another camera lens. This way I can try to match this photo up to exactly the same position that I had the first one. So that's matte shot. That's a nice little feature. Another dope feature is your center video. Now when you go to this one, you can play with this, change all your different cinematic effects, but the best part of this one is your pinch to zoom. Look how smooth you can zoom in. So this way, if you're making your home movies, you can zoom like a pro. Instead of that pinch to zoom, which is kind of quick. Once you get the hang of this, you can start zooming in nice and slow. And the good thing about that is, if you had another image in the background, you can lock on that image and pinch to zoom just that image. So that's a dope feature. Basically, this is one of the best cameras out. Same thing with the video camera. Now let me see, do I got to test video? Hold up. All right, I thought I had some videos on here, but I accidentally deleted them. It is what it is. Now, I use the food filter on this. Look at these pictures. Look at that lobster tail. Now, another dope feature about this phone is your camera galleries built into the top. Here's my daughter fascinated with the Galaxy Note 8 screen right feature. Now, check this out. This is low light photos. Nice Maserati. I'm thinking about copping one of those. But this was the killer right here. Now, I posted this on Instagram. Look at this photo. Low light, no flash, no filters, no pro mode, point and shoot. This is incredible. So I can't say enough good things about the camera on this. 100% worth the price. Only thing missing is portrait mode. Next, let's talk about accessories. Now, this is one of those phones that you're easily going to be able to find a case. I do got a few more case videos. I'll do the Lumium ones. Got one on deck right here. But I would say the best case for this phone that I used so far was the Spigen Tough Armor. That case is going to give you a lot of protection, and it's going to get rid of this extra light feel, and it's not going to feel as cheapy and light. Now, last but not least, let's talk about the floss factor. Now, if you don't know what the floss factor is, that means when you're out at that bar or that restaurant, somebody comes out with the iPhone, somebody comes out with the Moto Z, somebody got the Essential Trash, somebody got an HTC U11, somebody got a Pixel XL, somebody got a Galaxy S8 Plus, somebody got an LG G6, somebody got the big dog Note 8. Where do you fit in on the food chain? Are you on the top of the food chain, or are you on the bottom? Are you dinner? I would say with the LG V30, you're right at the top of the food chain. You're not a lion. All right, you're not a lion. The Galaxy Note 8 is still the king of the jungle. This is the lion. The V30, you're more like a hyena. You're more like a leopard. You could even be a tiger if there's no lions around. You could be the tiger. Basically, what I'm trying to say is the floss factor on this phone is through the roof. All right, this is right up there. Y'all seen the pictures I posted on the gram. The glass back on this phone just looks amazing. But the best part, I'm telling you, the best part about this phone is the camera. If you're on the fence about buying this phone, it's all about the camera. All right, so I got to wrap up this video. Shout out to my brother blowing me up on the phone. He's sitting outside in front of my house in the car, so I got to go. Basically, on a scale of 1 to 10, this phone is a major go. One word to describe this phone, camera. All right, so if you're heavy on social media, you're heavy into photography, this is the phone that you want. Anyway, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this. Shout out to everybody rocking with me on Facebook, Foursquare, Twitter, Google+. Shout out to all the Google gangsters. I see y'all holding down that Facebook page. Shout out to everybody hitting me up on Voxer. And a special shout out to everybody rocking with me on Instagram. Y'all know that's where I'm at full time, 100% full throttle. And a special shout out to everybody rocking with the new stream on Sundays. Y'all already know, Stream Gangsters on deck. Get your drinks ready. No meat boys allowed. Oh yeah, special shout out to everybody following me on Snapchat, Flossy_Carter. That's where I'm at. And a special shout out to the notification squad. I'll see y'all in the comment section early. #salute. Oh yeah, one more thing. I almost forgot. Fellas, ladies, say it with me. All y'all haters, all y'all trolls, close your eyes and picture me rolling. It's your boy Floss, I'm out. Deuces.
Enterprise, Spock here.
Spock, one to beam up.
Affirmative, Captain. Enterprise out.
Energize.